I mean, all right, is everybody recording? Should we do this?
I think we should do this.
We're doing it.
Episode 156 of the Grunge Bible podcast. We're doing it.
It's officially a go.
Happy 3.
Wow. Happy 3 years old.
Happy 3.
And that's right. We are the Grunge Bible podcast. And this is our 156th episode consecutively, meaning we have eclipsed 3 years of doing this. Round of applause.
The great summit has been achieved.
If this is your first time here, welcome. Great time to come. We have the whole team here. My name is Ethan Shalloway, Chris Salona, Drew McFadyen. Chris and I are the hosts, and that's our producer down below if you're watching on YouTube. And we got the whole gang here because it's a special day. We're embarking on our 4th year of Grunge Bible podcast. No, we're embarking on our 4th year.
Oh, embarking.
Yeah, 3's already in the books.
Yeah.
Thank God.
We are 3. Now we're 3 years in 1 day type of thing.
On daylight savings, nonetheless.
On daylight savings, yeah.
I'll tell you, this whole daylight savings thing is really throwing a wrench in my day. I'm hurting. I'm hurting today.
You're hurting for certain.
Yeah, I am absolutely struggling right now.
So if you were to, so we're gonna check in with everybody. The intro is a harken back to our first episode where we started it all back in 2021. So we do kind of talk about how far we've come over the years, but we're gonna do it formally for a little bit here. We got the whole team, and but as we do here in Grunge Bible, we need to check in and make sure we are all doing well. Check our mentals, check our chickens. So I really am excited for this one. I got to start with Chris. Chris, how are you doing? You look immaculate.
Nobody knows the trouble that I've seen. It is currently a lovely Sunday afternoon. I did not sleep Saturday night. My friends and I decided to engage in various indiscretions and basically stay up playing pool all night until the sun came up. And then I wanted to get some sleep after the sun came up, but it really just wasn't in the cards. So, naturally we have to record this podcast. So, I am my bright, bushy-tailed self here once again on the Grunge Bible podcast. This harkens back to the early days where I always had something to complain about in the check-in.
Oh, yeah.
Airing the grievances. So that's how I'm doing. We're going to pivot to Drew next. I'm quarterbacking this thing. Drew, how are you doing?
I'm great, guys. It's good to be here. I've got my Bechtelsville Park shirt on, which only means something to Ethan and myself, but doing super well. How you doing, E?
I'm doing well. Is that a Rock in the Park shirt? Is that from the gig?
Yeah.
There were shirts from then?
I don't know if it's like I don't think it's like directly with that show, but I think I got this shirt around that time. But
that's awesome. That's when we started to have to kick out one of our members in our band because of that show.
Yeah.
That was a good story. I like that one.
Yeah. Maybe it'll come up. I'm doing well. Yep. This is our 3rd day in a row actually podcasting. I think that's a record. So we're banking a few and we're pumped about it. And it is our 3-year birthday one. So that is really cool. Should be a pretty easy. I told you, don't swallow like that on camera, Drew.
I have a loud gulp.
He's the producer, gulp. Man. He'll just edit it out. He's got
a wide gate and a large gulp.
Exactly.
No, man, I'm doing really good. I'm happy to be here with you guys. I've been thinking a lot about bodies of work and lifetime achievements and stuff that you create that you have to look back on. And this page and this thing, like we talked about with Chris, is something that we will have to look back on in years. And we do a little bit of that today, but it's fun because anything that we do in the next year is going to also be put into that time bank. And I just think that there's so much possibility with this page and this thing. So it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool to think about because I get to do it with 2 of my best friends, and that's not very, usually if that's not how business works. You usually get into, if you miss the moment of early 20s of like, hey, we should do something together, then you kind of miss it.
And that's the best part about it too, is the people that we're able to do this with. And this is honestly speaking, I mean, I poke fun at the page and at the podcast all of the time. I think oftentimes just as kind of like a defense mechanism, just to be self-deprecating. But like, this really is one of the cooler things I think that we've all dedicated some time to throughout the last 3 years for the show and 8+ years for the page. I mean, those are significant amounts of time to be dedicated to something, and especially with this, to be creating something, and hopefully maybe having an impact, but just having fun doing it. I think we all need things in our lives that we do because they're fun, and this is certainly one that I look forward to doing. And every single time we finish an episode, I'm glad that we did it, and I laugh a lot, I learn a lot, I think a lot. It makes for a well-rounded day whenever I'm able to chat with either of you or any of the guests that we've had on over the years, and it's just a really illuminating experience for me.
Would you guys agree that, I mean, it translates to everything in life, but like it was harder getting this podcast started than it's been
maintaining,
trudging through, as Chris might put it, 156 episodes, like it was, I remember back in 2020, 2021, on the phone with you guys about it, just so many conversations like, hey, we got it, let's get some mics, it's just like, it took so long to like get things started sometimes in life, but then once you do, so worth it,
Yes, I was thinking about that as well. Like the fact that we kind of churn out an episode every week, and that probably takes an hour and a half to do all the recording. I don't know, an hour and a half to edit and set up and post it, and but it's just something you do. It's something that we do, and you don't even think about it. It's like, and that's what happens. Like, that's when you're really good at creating habits. You can do stuff that's not really enjoyable, but you're just used to doing it. You don't have to think about it. And not saying that the podcast is like that, but you just get used to it. And it's not like, it's like, oh yeah, we're just going to do this. Like we have an objective and project.
It becomes part of your day, part of your week. Yeah. I totally agree with that, Drew. Like, thinking back, I mean, we made our first abortive attempts to do a podcast in the summer of 2020, and we actually didn't start releasing the show until March of 2021. And I remember at the time, it felt so hard to figure out what we were going to talk about, what the identity of the show was going to be, when we were going to release it, how we were going to host it. Just the cadence of getting it done. And I remember even in the beginning, we banked a bunch of episodes. We were in the valley of despair for sure. We didn't know much, and we knew we didn't know much. And I remember in the beginning, we started banking episodes in January of 2021, a couple of months before we decided to launch the show. And I remember at the time, we probably banked the first 5 or 6. And it felt like such a significant accomplishment to have those 5 or 6 in the bank. And I just remember this foreboding feeling once we were releasing those, like, oh my God, what are we going to talk about? And like, how are we going to continue to do this? But it was definitely just like a continual building of momentum, I think, in the sense that, I personally, I think I grew a lot of confidence over the years doing this. I grew a lot more comfortable doing it, not taking myself too seriously, just kind of knowing my way around the space, and just like learning to have fun with it. And Ethan, what you said is the truest thing. It just becomes a part of your routine. And about things that are, in the routine, people always ask me about stuff like that, or, just different things that I do habitually. And it's like, it's the same way you get up and you brush your teeth in the morning. Like, we just get up and we post on the page and we do the podcast.
Record an hour and a half podcast. Just what we do.
Yeah, just what we do.
Of course, we're podcasters.
Of course.
And thinking back too, like, I mean, if you remember where you were at that point, like, it was right in the middle of COVID,
Right. And I was about to say, probably helped because we weren't as busy.
Yeah, we definitely had the time to do it.
Where I lived in the world was downtown Los Angeles, so it was like, it was like a ghost town, it was crazy. So this couldn't have come at a better time.
Yeah. And honestly, how would you go ahead, Ethan?
Say COVID got my life back on track. Financially stable, got the podcast running. I was able to focus on some things, focus on myself.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Honestly.
Crazy.
Drew, how would you answer that
took
question?
Some people off the rails.
Yeah, seriously, it was luck of the draw. Just roll the dice.
At the time,
Best thing that happened to me.
But looking back,
it was definitely a positive experience for me. I mean, my life changed in a lot of ways that were tough at the time, but ended up charting a course that I'm very happy with today. And this is a byproduct of it. But before we get too far away from it, Drew, how would you answer the question that you asked us, in the sense that when we first started doing it, did you find it to be a lot more difficult in the beginning, like with your role, and then you kind of settled into it, or was it just kind of pretty consistent throughout for you?
In terms of like the editing and producing and stuff, no issues there whatsoever. It's, I like doing it,
Yeah.
so it keeps my ear sharp for the most part, but it was harder, just the organization of it, just, getting the three of us to commit to doing this. And here we are, 156 strong. So just pushing the snowman down the hill. Yeah. Yeah, man.
Yeah, if you look back, 21 versus 24, that is 2021. And I remember on the first episode, I was listening back, and we had 250,000 followers. We had 250,000 followers. Fast forward to today, probably right around 650.
Yeah, 638,000.
Yeah, but this comes out in a week and a half, so I'm assuming.
That's true. Forgot about that.
Well, pretty much, we could be just about at
that snowman's rolling downhill.
Right, and if you take, as Drew pointed out, you take all of the platforms, Facebook and TikTok and, Debaser and all of them. we're at a million. Yeah, the OnlyFans. We're at 1 million total, which is pretty sweet.
Over a million, but yeah, I know. I don't know why I didn't realize this. This is a massive deal for us.
Yeah, we should have celebrated that.
We're doing it right now. Congratulations, guys.
Today's the day.
3 years. We took 3 years, 8 years, 1 million total. Pretty sick.
That's pretty sick.
It's wild to think about.
And I said, now we started when we were, 26, 24, right?
Yeah, I was 24. Yeah, I listened to the first episode yesterday.
Right? 29.
Yeah, you're the same age. And I picked out, and during that time, Chris, you were training for a marathon.
I was training for a marathon, and I did indeed complete it.
Is that funny? Is that funny to think that like during we were starting this and you were training for a marathon at the time? Maybe.
When we started this show, like for me personally, I was in a very weird spot in my life in a lot of ways.
Does that mean anything for you? Marathon that started
kind
the same
of a little bit. The marathon was something that I had to do just to kind of follow through on some things that I had gotten myself into and some ways that I had coped with shit that was going on in my life in 2020. Like 2020 was not a good year for me. And the marathon was kind of like me. I needed to do that to declare victory over some things. And I think we needed to start the podcast, to move that element of my life forward too. But I remember when we started this show, like I was in a really, really weird spot in my life. Like I had just kind of like quit on a career that I had attempted to follow for a little bit with, working in college athletics. And I'd moved back to Rhode Island, away from the Midwest where I'd been for 5 years. And I was, living at home at the time, and we were starting this podcast, and I was kind of getting my feet wet with a new job. I didn't really know what was going to happen. And I appreciate that every single week since, there's just been gradual progress and new experiences. And I look back, there's so much has changed, and I think I've grown in a lot of different ways, and it's interesting, and it's cool to have this, the weekly check-ins, for example. You look back and like it's throughout everything, we've checked in and we've discussed it. But the marathon, man, and you were training for the Tokyo games at the time. Yeah. And in a lot of ways, a lot of things have changed for the three of us, but in some ways, the temperament and our processes have stayed the same. And I know, Ethan, you're still training, and now it's, instead of 21, it's 24 now, and we're in 24, and this is your year.
That's right. It is funny. Like we changed by not changing at all in a lot of ways. We all did change, obviously. And I think, one of the things I wrote down, I feel like I was looking at the last 3 years and definitely in my athletics, like I think I'll say it now. I made a decision recently that I'm going to train to 2028 to the next Olympics. Right.
Damn right.
I made that decision like now, you know what I mean? Because you need to know. I can't be like, I'm going to take it year by year. Like I need to know if I'm going to do this or not. And that's irregardless of how this year finishes out. And that's how this, I think I heard somebody was talking like the best thing you can do when you get out of college, it's like, should I do this? And I think there was some advice and it was like, give it 5 years. If it doesn't work in 5 years, then quit, but give everything 5 years. And we did that, but this is 3 years. So we need at least 2 more years to really know that you got to give it a fair shot and put everything into it. And so I was wondering, and like I said, looking back at my athletic career and the times that I've spent, like it's a lot of, it's really motivational to me to push forward because see where I've came from, see where I'm like, where I've been, how I've progressed and like what I've progressed to. And that like makes me really optimistic for the future. And I remember my roommate, Curtis, like sometimes when you're a big rut, like in sport, you just like, he says, I like to watch videos of like, your old personal best, it's like, this was you, like, this was only a year ago and this was you, like, you're very capable of that. And you go like, you're right. It kind of snaps you back. So does this like looking back at the 3 years and you can just go to the page in general, but like the 3 years podcast specific, like how motivational is that to you guys that we have that or that it's there?
Do you have thoughts, Drew?
Yeah, dude, definitely motivational. I mean, it reminds you that things only happen when you do them, like you can, like you said, I think before we started recording, buddies in early 20s, you're like, hey, we should do this, we should do that, blah, blah, blah. Like everybody is guilty of it, like just saying things, we should do this, I want to do that. We did it, and here we are 3 years down the road. And it just reminds you that you just got to do stuff if you want stuff to happen, Like it's a very simple thing to say, and it makes a lot of sense, but definitely need to remind yourself of that sometimes,
Yeah. I feel the same way. And because of the weekly nature of this show and the daily nature of the page, like you're in it all the time, and it's always the next thing you have to do, the next podcast you have to record, and like oftentimes, the next one is only a couple of days away because you got to put one out every week and you got to post on the page every day. So yeah, when you look back, it's like you can kind of like look over your shoulder and be like, wow, like we did all of that, and like we're continuing to do all of that. And with the daily nature of it, like you kind of forget the impact that it can have. And when you look back at it, you kind of realize, all of the stories and all of the messages add up, and all of the well wishes and notes of thanks that people have given us over the years, like they really add up. And it is inspiring and it is motivating to continue to do it. Because I think for me, like the show and the page itself, like it's always been the perfect balance of self-serving, but also, beneficial for the people that consume it. Right. It's like, I'm enjoying it all the time and it's helping me. And it's doing that for other people. And before we hopped on here, like something that I was just focusing on, that like, I have laughed so much because of this. Like it's brought a lot of joy into my life. And oftentimes we talk about how like inspiring it could be, or how like strength building, the music can be, but like just like the humor and the joy that this has brought into my life, and just the conversations that the three of us have had over the years, like just like cutting up on the phone, talking about this, like it is hilarious. And my life is so much brighter because I'm able to have those moments.
And we're not even in the same place. Imagine if we were to...
I know, man. That's what we were talking about the other day. If we could just hop into the studio in one place. Oh, my God. And at the end, you crack open a couple of beverages, and the next thing you know, you're there for hours.
At the end? I mean, the beginning.
At the beginning. On the way
5 days
to
a
the
week.
venue.
Oh, man, that sounds awesome.
Do you think we could get to a business week of podcasts every week?
Just
5 a week?
Oh my
Monday,
goodness.
1 Tuesday.
You want to do 5 a week just to say we did it?
I mean, do you think we could
ever get there?
If that's the
case, what do you mean? Do you think we could ever get there? We want to do 5 this week, we'll do it. Just so we can say we've done it. All these things that I've done, the killers, like we'll just do it.
I think we should.
We're not going to sustain it. I don't think we should.
Yeah, right.
Let's do. I got an idea, boys. 365 days, 365 podcasts. Can we do it?
We could do that. We could do it, and it would get easier as time went on. This is a little.
You guys want to do it?
Oh, I can't commit to that right now.
It would be very small, but
I don't trust my decision-making process.
Things only happen if you do them.
One song a day, and that's it. Let's talk about one song in depth, and then put it out there.
It would do a lot for our download numbers, and it would probably keep us in the charts better.
We're just talking volume.
We should do this. Yeah.
Let's talk about this.
Okay.
It's so funny. So there's a there's a YouTuber and a runner named Seth Demore, and he did on YouTube. He did a daily vlog for something like 6 years in a row. And last year he just abruptly stopped the vlog and like went dark for a couple of months. And it was like, what the hell happened to him? Like he wasn't like posting on Strava anymore. Like he was just like very silent on socials. And he came back and he posted a video and he's like, I know a lot of you are wondering why I stopped doing the daily vlogs after 6 years without missing a day. And he said, the honest truth, it got too easy. I was so pissed when I heard it, but like I thought of that when you were like, could we do every day? It's like the Springsteen
not a
lyrics.
challenge
You can
to
get
me.
used to anything. It just sooner or later it just becomes your life.
Wow,
it's literally
that's
like
awesome.
Goodwill Hunting. You think this is fucking hard? This is
It is
easy.
a
This is
fucking
easy for
joke
me.
to me.
This is a fucking joke. This is easy for me.
I wish it was easy for you. I wouldn't have to sit here and watch you fuck it up.
Watch you fuck it up.
That's a brilliant Matt Damon impersonation right there, Drew. I like that a lot. We need some more of that. We need to interject that into the show. That was good.
Man. I love Matt Damon.
Let's do it.
So that is a lofty. We continue to make promises on this show of things that could end up being. We need to record a cover of Wood.
Yeah.
First and foremost.
Drew, did Tim get back? Do we have time? We need time in September. That's when we're gonna be in.
We're serious?
We have to.
Okay.
I mean, yeah. So
again, who's recording what? You're playing drums.
Pretty much.
We're
singing.
Or you want
to sing?
I
mean, if we want to do instrumentals, we can. But I was thinking that.
Can we?
Yeah, we could. We could.
All right.
If I mean, dude, I gotta check the bass line. I'm assuming Chris.
How hard could it be?
You play bass.
You probably play some bass. Yeah, I could.
I'll play drums and Drew will play guitar.
Oh
we don't need to talk about, but we have 6 months or something, 7 months before that.
So is that going to come before or after we shift the podcast to a daily format?
Well, do we hash it out right now? I mean, I don't think that'll matter. That's going to be easy. That'll be easy to do once we get going.
Exactly.
As we just talked about.
And then we'll stop doing it because it got too easy for us.
Right.
Yeah.
365
Dude, you know something?
days.
Just different note I've been thinking about.
Yeah.
How easy it would be to make AI renditions of your guy's voice because of how many hours you're speaking on the internet.
Oh my. And then we'd never get into a rock and a hard place situation where it's Sunday and we still have to record for Monday.
We'll just the future every day.
Computers.
We'll just do AI of you
Drew,
guys.
have you ever?
Yeah. That'll be the new episodes.
And you just let those computies rip and then we don't have to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
Have you guys ever heard of the Dudesy podcast?
No.
Oh, Drew, you need to look it up. So do you, Chris. But dudes, Dudes, dudes. It's two guys, but it's an AI generated podcast, and they have they sit there. So they have their AI that took both of them, and took all of their likes, all like what they do, what they're from, and it gets smarter and smarter as the episodes go. And they just they come up with crazy, they're comedians and stuff. And it's really good. They have Dudes Evening, which is like December 27th, where you get drunk with your dudes. And,
Say no more.
They've been doing it and so I did it with Coach Wood showed it to me, but literally it's AI generated. They have the person come in the voice and they don't know anything about it, what the episode is until they start, the AI starts telling them and asking them questions and stuff.
So yeah, I would love to do that.
It's pretty cool.
Like you mentioned that they get smarter as time goes on. I would do that with the only condition being that the first couple of ones, the AI is just absolutely stupid.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean stupid how.
Funny how.
Funny how. Funny exactly.
Just kind of
funny
because it's just stupid.
I amuse you.
Like, because I mean, it is
just unintelligent.
At the end of it, it's like it's stupid funny. Like the humor is like really, like it's like it's like Tim Allen as Donald Trump, or I don't know. They do like random ass, like only something that the internet could come up with, basically, like prompts, and it's really funny.
Mm-hmm. That's crazy.
Like they used Tom Brady's voice into like a song or something, and it was Tom Brady. Yeah.
I mean, think about it. There's like, out of all the people on the planet, there's not too many people, relatively speaking, who are on the internet as much as you guys are. You know, like
we're in.
I think I've spoken on the internet much more than the average person. You guys, I mean,
much more. Somebody's got to shut us up.
So 156 episodes, at least an hour, at least 60 minutes per.
Yeah, with the special episodes.
Probably the special episodes. It's at least 200. I bet it's like maybe 250 hours.
Yeah.
Total. That's a long time.
Seems fair.
It's dangerous. You guys are in danger.
You think we're in danger?
I'll say.
Yeah. That's cool. We're in danger. On this day, I'd be remiss if we didn't talk about a birthday that was on March 18th that it comes out, right? This day
March
in music.
18th. Yeah, this is a nice scrambled episode right now. I like this. We're getting into this day in music.
Yeah, we're going back.
40 minutes in.
Jerry Cantrell. You guys know him.
Massive.
Born in Tacoma, Washington, back in 1969. Happy birthday, Jerry. He's like, I mean, he's our legend. You know, he's our guy.
Without Jerry and people like him, there's no Grunge Bible podcast.
100%. Yeah, he's the freaking man. So happy birthday, Jerry. There's a few other things. Chris is very vehemently against doing this day in music.
That's just because I haven't slept. I mean, now that we're here,
I know why.
We can do what we need to do.
You didn't want to talk about the original drummer from the Doobie Brothers being born in 1950.
Yeah, John Hartman turning a ripe was at 74 years old today.
Yeah, we don't need to go too in depth into some of the stuff, but I did want to bring up. Well, I guess there's two. The last two. In 2002, March 18th, Talking Heads played their first time since 1984 when they were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, along with Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, the Ramones, and a few others. But I love that they took a real break, a real reunion, and came back and played after 18 years. That would be such a treat for have somebody like to really take a long time off and then come back. Trying to keep a band. People always come back early.
Yeah, it's always interesting too, like when there's bands that, because I believe the Talking Heads, there was internal strife within the band that kind of led to their breakup or hiatus or however they coined it at the time. And it's always interesting after grievances like that have occurred and a lot of time passes, and then for one reason or another, the bands get back together to play, whether it's a one-off or whether they go back on tour. Those dynamics are always interesting to me. I mean, you see it all the time, I feel like, with brothers or siblings in bands. And, I feel like you can't be a sibling band and not end up hating each other's guts. But some of them are able to kind of put that aside and play despite all of that. Those dynamics are always interesting to me.
Yeah, my brain goes to Guns N' Roses, The Who, and Black Sabbath. They took like real hiatuses too,
Yeah.
Getting back together.
And actually on this list, in 1996, the Sex Pistols announced that they were reuniting for their 20th anniversary tour, which they called the Filthy Lucre Tour. And lead singer Johnny Rotten, who once vowed never to reunite the group, says, "We have found a common cause to bring us back together again, and it is your money."
Hey, at least he's honest, because at the end of the day,
isn't that awesome? Johnny Rotten, baby.
That's why. It's because the money is green.
Yep.
That's the whole reason.
Found a common cause, and it is your money. And
I feel like you could do, like, if some economist did a study of, the financial benefit of breaking up a band only to reunite years later, it's got to be more lucrative than if the band had just stayed together all of that time. Especially if
and you get to take a break.
Yeah, you get to take a break too.
You get to go to
those
sleep,
royalties are still coming in.
You get to go to bed and you get the next night.
And you get the next night. It's perfect. It's the same thing. It's the same as the farewell tours, which I know I think we're all vehemently against. But some of these targeted breakups, and we'll never come back together. I mean, I appreciate the hell out of that, because sometimes they give you the lip service of, after so many years we've remembered what's important to us, and it's the music and it's the memories that we've made. Like, fuck no, it's the money. Like, you need the money, or you just want the money. So just be honest here.
Where's the money, Lebowski?
Yeah, where's the fucking money, shithead?
Johnny Rotten, Sex Pistols. Am I correct in how they got signed? Was an A&R rep was at a bar. He got burned by, it was either the Clash or the Ramones. Johnny Rotten and the Sex Pistols were playing, and he had a shirt on that said "fuck the Clash" or "fuck the Ramones," whichever one.
That sounds like something I've heard before.
Sounds like something we did for this day in music. Before.
Could be. We've done a lot of days in music.
I feel like I've heard that from my pop or something, but
not from us.
So
okay,
I don't think so. Yeah,
not from us. You sure?
From Johnny Rotten himself.
I have heard that too. That. Maybe you told us.
I think I told you.
Maybe you told us before this, and that's why I remember it. But because we're doing this day of music, I'm getting it all. I'm getting it all connected.
That sounds right?
Yeah, that does sound like like punk rock lore. That makes sense.
Yeah, let's just say it's right.
Talk about the balls to wear a shirt that says "fuck the Ramones" or "fuck the Clash," and then to
get
be
your foot in the door
as the Sex Pistols.
Right,
it's awesome.
Right time, right place. Burned A&R rep and a t-shirt.
Back when things were simple.
Yeah,
everything was very simple.
The last thing I do want to bring up, I want to talk about, we talked about a little bit off camera, but I just think it's ridiculous, and we can get into a little bit about it. But I guess Morgan Wallen's album last year, 36 songs, and apparently all of them are on the Hot 100, breaking Drake's record of 27. And I'm out, boys. I'm officially out.
All of them charted?
All 36. Yeah, all 36 of them. For one thing at a time that lands on the Hot 100, breaking, So 36 out of 100, you're giving 36% of the lion's share to this man for the top 100 for, dude, I'm just not buying it. That's bullshit. That's not a Hot 100. That's I don't know if that's streaming and marketing, but that's all bullshit.
I think I'm officially out on the Billboard lists.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't need them anymore.
Out. And Morgan Wallen. I never was a Morgan Wallen guy.
No, I was never in.
He came out with that, and I didn't fucking. I don't like it. I don't like him.
I don't have detailed evidence, but I do have inside knowledge that it is quite political. And
yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, there's a lot 100%. Of ways to get on there when nobody's listening to your shit.
Yeah, I feel like there's so many ways to.
That's what Grammys are.
Yeah, I mean, fuck. There's so many ways to break it down too, and I feel like there's so many different charts that if you just look hard enough, you're gonna end up on one of them if you really want. Like you have the adult contemporary radio, and then you have like the adult contemporary streaming, and like everybody, like, because Ethan, like we've known of bands that have charted, and they've told us, hey, we're charting right now, and I don't know how they do.
I got a good idea, boys. This is why we do this stuff. I think we need a Grunge Bible Hot 100 shit that we're listening to. It's like songs of the week, but like we'll just always we can have a running chart.
Become tastemakers that way.
Dude, it could take off. Like I'm thinking, boy, this is something my dad would do. Like, let's just make our own.
Dave's list.
Dave's list. Like he's done that. He's like, give me your top 20 all-time TV shows. I'm like, I don't know if I have 20 TV shows. And then he'll send his list. Like, this is my top 10 right now.
We have the authority to do that.
Even if we did it. Even if we didn't. It's our
list. Who cares? The Billboard doesn't have it.
If people want to buy it at the top, they can. But like, let's just start a list. Who knows what in 20 years we'll be like, yeah, we've had this running Hot 100. We're not going to call it Hot 100 because obviously we're against that.
But I think the thing about like our list though, I think we should totally allow artists to pay their way in.
Right.
And just be super upfront about it too.
Yeah, just like Johnny Rotten. Like we finally found a common cause to bring us back together, and it's your money. Like we finally assembled a list of the greatest songs right now, and it's got everything to do with who's paying us.
Yeah. I made it to Grunge Bible #1 because I gave him $5,000.
Exactly.
What up?
And if you want to be #1, like boom, you got to pay us $6,000.
You got to pay to
Price
play,
of
man.
the brick's going up.
Price of the brick. I love it though.
Yeah,
100's a
like
lot,
this.
but
and then we can weaponize the 5-day-a-week podcast to really rile the people up about it.
This will help. This is good. I like this.
This is great.
Maybe should we do 100? I think we have to, right? I think we should. Maybe we do 25.
Oh, we can always expand it if there's more financial interest from artists, you know. And the best part is this is just a ruse, and it's a venue for us to push our single of Wood when we record it, because it's immediately going to the top of the charts
and 100%. Stay in there.
It's not moving. I can't wait to do this.
That's funny.
This will be good. All right,
Yeah,
that does it for this day in music.
Yeah.
And then also this day in 2021, Grunge Bible Podcast debuted.
Yeah,
this day in
this
music
is big
commentary.
Yeah. Also, at this point, I would be remiss. We've just got to give a nice, big old thank you to everybody who's helped us out along the way. Over the last 3 years, there's far too many names to name individually. People that have given us kind words or given us money. People that have come and gone from the Patreon. People that have purchased merch. People have just flat out donated to us to help us make purchases for the show. If you're any of those people, or even if you're here right now, we're thankful, because we wouldn't have made it the 3 years without you, and we certainly wouldn't be excited to move forward for another at least another few years without your help. So that's you know who you are.
That's right. Thank you, everybody, for not only your loud support, but also the quiet support. Talking within your circles, and
it's like quiet quitting, kind of.
Yeah.
You don't have to be loud
we don't.
about
We don't need all the people. We don't need everybody
Actually,
to give praise. We like the silent support too. So if you're one of those people and you're just consistent over the last couple of years, that means a lot. Probably means more.
Absolutely.
Maybe
anybody can talk.
Anybody can talk, but
and they won't.
So moving forward, what are we going to do for the next 5 years of podcasting? Where do we see ourselves? We have to do a little bit of dreamcasting, right?
Yeah, I mean that's typically what we do in these spaces.
We've done it a few times. So let's just talk. Let's manifest a few things, and then we'll call it a podcast. Be done. Drew?
Well, definitely a live event is extraordinary goal.
That would be cool.
We talked about it. We have a blueprint, man. I'm telling you, we got to base it around a few bands, and we'll just fill the gaps. Like we're not headlining. Like, no one. If we had a live podcast, and I could be wrong, and Drew, you'll probably tell me I'm wrong. Chris will probably tell me I'm right. I say that we're not going to get enough people to do a live podcast in person.
I would tell you you're right.
Exactly.
Because
and
Drew,
you tell me I'm wrong.
No, you're probably right. No, just kidding.
Right. But if we get a few bands, and then they just show up, we can just DJ.
Or if we just pick the right size room. I mean, any room looks, you could make any room look filled.
If you trim the tree, it looks taller.
Yeah, exactly. Stand on your tiptoes, Optical illusions can be found anywhere.
You know who told me that, Drew?
Yeah.
Michael Hutzeluk.
And you know what's even funnier, and it's only funny to you and me, is that's not the first time he's been brought up on the podcast. There was this character in junior high school, Michael Hutzeluk. He's just one of those guys that you'll never forget.
Any friend circle relation to steel rustling?
No, and I don't even know. Like, I don't even know. If, it
could be.
Yeah, I don't even know.
Potentially,
if you call him necessarily a friend, but
yeah, but those people are like Spencer would say. You see them and you grab them, and you take them and you put them in your memory bank, and you have them forever. You see them one time, and you go, "That's like I'm gonna save him."
You hold on to him.
Steel wrestling as well. He stays in there.
Yeah.
Anyway, so you think live event, Drew? Back to what we were saying.
Yeah, I mean, like being truthful, I don't know if the podcast is. It's certainly not where the page is yet, right? So,
right.
But I think in a few years, it definitely could be.
Yeah, I was say we're talking a few years, so that's.
Yeah, I think we could. I mean, I think there's definitely potential to have a very successful, fun live event that
I think so too.
People would come to for the Grunge Bible podcast. I really do, and I think what would help is, I like the band idea, but I think more so like having guests, like prominent guests to interview. I think that's kind of
like a town hall type thing. Yeah.
Yeah, like, Bill Burr.
Tim Sonnefeld's town hall.
Yeah.
The band.
Yeah, exactly.
No, you're right. Yeah, getting Bill Burr, Cafaro. Oh man, having him on a live podcast would be awesome.
Yeah, sometimes to look forward, you do have to look back. But, I mean, just think about, like, the guests think about starting back in 2021. We could say, like, well, wouldn't it be cool if we had guests? And look at all the guests that we've had. Extraordinary goals would be, getting, like, Bill Burr or somebody, one of these guys on.
There's always lists, I think we've all got the personal... people, the big fish out there that we would love to sit down with. So I think those are always like the easier ones to decide upon. Like, man, it would be absolutely cool because I mean we've had so many conversations with people that I didn't think that we would chat with, and certainly even when we did, like I'm always surprised at how excited and lively our guests are and how appreciative they are of the space. And that's always a really cool and encouraging feeling because I'm still, sometimes I'm still like a little unsure of like, hey, like, why are they doing, are they just doing this to be nice or what have you? But everybody seems to have really enjoyed spending time with us on the show, which is really cool. It's the best endorsement you can ask for, I think.
Totally. And I think, my other things I look forward to, goals, are just improving the quality, always of the show.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. How about you guys?
I think speaking to like the quality of it, at least for me personally, looking back to kind of look forward, I'm pleased with, I think, the improvements that I've made in the skills that I've acquired doing the show. Looking back at some of the first episodes, I really don't enjoy listening to myself. I don't enjoy the cadence of my voice, the decisions that I made to, shift conversation, topic points, and what have you. And I think Ethan, you too, like we've gotten a lot better at just hosting the show and running the show. And that I think just came with experience and growing comfort levels. So that's something looking back that I'm happy about, and looking forward. Not that this would really have any sort of tangible effect on what we do, but selfishly, I always thought it would be really cool if some sort of music news outlet or publication profiled Grunge Bible and did a little write-up and interviewed us for it. I mean, it's happened before that, the Spins of the world or obviously the Rolling Stones of the world will have kind of niche interest articles like that. The classic, like, meet the two X whatever who are keeping this alive, the stupid buzzworthy bullshit. But nonetheless, I think it would be cool to be recognized in some way like that, just selfishly, for us.
I think we could make that happen now.
We probably could. Yeah.
Just a matter of doing it and reaching out to people, Yeah,
just be like, hey, like we're doing this thing. If you want to come talk to us about it.
I'd like for you guys to go on another podcast.
I would like to do some of that, honestly. We've only done it. We've done it once, right? We went on Mark Hopkins's show, but we haven't gone on anybody else's podcast. That would be fun.
I think that would be fun.
Yeah, I mean, the same way, like, people love coming on our show because they like talking about themselves and they like answering questions about things they're passionate about. And I think we would all enjoy the opportunity to do that too.
Well, our fans have also heard our stories. So if we go
Right.
to somebody else's page, like it would be new. It would be fresh.
Exactly.
We could talk about some stuff, and it wouldn't be.
Like, our fans have heard our stories, and it's not going to stop
I'll
us
just
from
say-
continuing to tell them, though.
That's right. That's how stories work.
Yeah.
You know, and it's my turn and I'm in it. So
It's important because I'm in it.
it's important because
and it's
I'm
better
in it,
than
and it's
yours
good.
because I'm in it and you're not.
Yeah, exactly. For me, you know, I guess we'll start looking back, but I really appreciate the quality of the last 3 years, and that was one of the reasons we didn't start, because we wanted to make sure that it was at least, you know, palpable, and we had those, you know, the snowballs, man, and they were good. I thought they were great.
They were trusty.
They did a good work.
Yeah.
We held them for a little bit, but we made it work, and like the audio, Drew did a great job. We didn't try to, you know, kid ourselves and edit it. We just were like, we gotta get, you know, it's like, let's get Drew. And glad we made that decision, because the quality has been good the whole time. We have that. We don't have to go back and be pissed that we, you know, wasted time or something. And as far as like the next 5 years, what was mine? Shoot. I'm having a total blank.
We'll just make a new one. It's a new goal.
Exactly.
Yeah, new goal. No, I want to see, like, I really do want to see. I mean, I've gone after things in my life, you know, historically. Like, I've gone all in javelin. I've moved, and I'll do things without like really thinking about it. And I want to
all in.
I want to do that. I want to go all in.
All in, baby.
There's something that like at some point, you know, and we've been slow rolling this for a while, but I think it would be fun, and then who knows when that would be the right time for all of us to be like, all right, guys, let's take which are we in the peak of Mount Stupid,
in the Valley of Despair.
It would be fun to, like, I mean, move to LA for a month, right? See what we got. Move in with Drew. I don't know what your situation is, Drew, but like, move in. We all cram in somewhere.
Just take an extended,
and we just
residence.
And we just I don't know, borrow some money to get us through the month, so that we don't need to worry about anything. And like, let's see if there's something here, and if it's not, you know, we'll know. But something like that. Like, I'd like to do something, so then, you know, yeah, I don't know. I kind of want to take one of the risks, you know, because we've been playing it safe. We've been taking the steps. We've been doing it good, and we got a lot of other stuff on our plate. So like, I'm not discrediting, but there's a part of me that's like, you know, I do like the risk aspect of
all of this shit
life.
Too is a lot more doable once you're in the process of doing it, because like starting the show felt like a big thing, and then continuing to do it for all this time felt like a big thing. Even something as stupid as like buying the microphones felt like a big thing, or scheduling that interview felt like a big thing. Even today, like, it felt like a huge undertaking that, like, hey, we have to sit down and record this podcast. But I mean, Drew, you made the point earlier on that, like, I forget how you worded it, but it's like, you know, things get done because you choose to do them. And Ethan, I think that's what you're talking about there. It's like, you just kind of make the decision to do it, and, you know, don't think about it. You end up in some good places.
Mm-hmm. So there's like, I mean, I know the other thing that my original thing was, I do want to create. I want to keep creating, you know. I like that we're doing this. I want to keep doing cool stuff on the pod. We're working on some art to do, you know, creative space. I want to, like, you know, record that with like the wood at the end of the year. Like, I want to create stuff to have and to put ourselves out there and to push ourselves. Like I said, if we're recording in September, like, you know, we got 9 months, like, learn the song. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how to say it. You know, we could do it. You know, it's plenty of time.
You know what I want to do? I want to write.
What?
I want to write.
Yeah. Totally agree.
I don't know what. I don't know how, but I've wanted to.
I
like
totally
with
agree.
like words, like with a pen, or you mean like music?
Like words.
Oh, okay, yeah,
like
a story.
like written pieces about something, because I don't know. It's weird. Like I do a lot of, little stuff for the pages and captions about stuff, and people always seem to really relate to it, and they're like, you should write a whatever. And maybe they're right. I always think about the old saying, like, everybody's got one book in them. I've always thought about that.
I like that.
Yeah.
Well, then you have to do it.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about that as well, believe it or not. With this creating, I was like, what can I create? And like, so I want to play a little more guitar, but I would love to write some lyrics. I really want to I texted Drew and Adam just yesterday or 2 days ago, and I was like, we need to record some songs. We need to write some songs first, and we need to record them. Basically.
That would be this would be the ultimate Trojan horse. We've been building almost a million plus people, and then we just market our music to, and then boom, we're going platinum.
I want to go platinum. That's my goal. Platinum.
Creating is it's the best.
We
do, the three of us do create. We create every week in these episodes. I get a lot of my creation fix. I love to cook, so I love cooking, and creating, delicious. It just develop skills that cooking skills and creating with that. I used to put music out myself,
right,
to the world. It just feels really good, and we should definitely get back into other outlets of creation and sharing it with the world, because that's how civilization progresses, either through conversation or violence. So conversation being art, whatever.
I like
what it is. Think about it.
I thought you were going to say creation and conversation, but violence too. Yeah. That's
the thing. I mean, point. Like you can express yourself obviously through the things you make, but I think also through the skills that you choose to develop. I mean, you're talking about cooking, for example. I think that's, a mode of expression and certainly a mode of creativity. And there's like this thing for me that I always think about, like, I was like, oh, like I want to write, and you don't just write and you're good at writing, right? Like you have to develop those skills and learn the processes there. And I think with anything else like that, I think we've learned to do that in a way that works for us here. And I'm sure it always continues to evolve, and it is fun, I think, not only to create, but also just to kind of, let the ways that you create kind of wander in the way that they want to go. Ethan, we were big and we still are on a kind of a John Frusciante kick, and he talks a lot about that,
bring him up,
about how creativity and good ideas don't start in the mind, they start somewhere outside of the mind, and then if you open yourself to it, and in his opinion, a lot of it's tied into nature and just being receptive to the forces that exist. It can find its way in, and then for it to work, you've got to step completely out of the way and just let the idea go where it wants to go, because it's always heading somewhere. In spite of what you do to kind of get your arms around it, you kind of need to let it do its thing. And I was thinking about that a lot the last couple of weeks listening to him, and it definitely inspires me to, try to work on that skill of getting out of the way, and, anything that's that could come from me, just to kind of let it happen.
Yeah, John,
I think you should start writing.
Yeah. There was a quote, I was trying to find it. I thought maybe it was on Niche. But it was somebody said, like, you basically, it was like, go write something, write it for yourself. When you're done, rip it up, throw it away. But the fact that he took the time to write it and get it out there, he said, do that every day. Say, don't worry about anybody seeing it. Don't worry about it. It's like, you're doing it for you, do it for yourself. And I did that a few times this past week, where I wrote some stuff, and like, it's challenging because for some reason, you feel like it has to be really good.
Yeah.
But then when you're done, you just rip it up and throw it away. And all of a sudden you start getting used to pen to paper, and things stay. And I think that's really important.
It's a good exercise to not be so caught up on perfection.
Yeah. And also I've been watching some movies and thinking about, like, honestly, the creation, like Dune, me and Drew were talking about, watched it the other night.
Dune.
And the fact that somebody, wrote a whole new world into existence, and it took them years, to develop the linguistics, the the world politics and the literally make up everything like that. That stuff takes a long time. So, and books take a long time. People take 2 years to write a book. So, yeah, you just kind of, it's one of those things where it's really daunting until you start getting a routine and a rhythm, and then all of a sudden it's a lot easier. That's how. So I guess we're all going to start writing.
We should though.
And it's
man. Shit.
We should. I agree.
I heard this. I've heard it worded several different ways. Most recently from A$AP Rocky, who heard it from one of his engineers, producers, was art is 10% the creative process, 90% editing. It's like Chris, you said, you don't just start writing and you're, fucking the man at it. Like,
right.
Maybe you write something 10 minutes in the morning, put in a drawer, then you think about it like all day. You're editing, like you're thinking about it, you're, editing essentially in your head. Come back, rip it up like Ethan said, and do it over again, and that's how you progress,
Yeah, it's an interesting
I've also
way to
heard
think about it.
Also heard somebody else say anybody can go out there and write something. It's the editing that's difficult. It's making it. It's like putting your stuff in. It's like taking that piece of paper, that scratch piece of paper, and making it something for other people to take. That editing is what people don't want to do. And
there was Mark Lanigan, when he wrote his memoir. I was listening to an interview that he did on a podcast once where he was talking about kind of how he had started to write it because some people in his circle, Anthony Bourdain chiefly among them, was encouraging him to write. And he was talking on this podcast, and he said, he's like, so I started writing, and he's like, I showed it to some of my friends, not to see if it was good, but he's like, I needed to know that what I was doing was literature and it wasn't just kind of scrambled jargon. And, I needed that vote of confidence, like, hey, like you have something here that could be, used, that has some value like that. And it's like you said, like anybody can write, but to, put it in such a way that it has value and meaning. I always appreciated that. It's like the distinction between just words and stories and literature.
Yeah. That's why artists need engineers, producers,
Damn right. And we certainly do, because we wouldn't be doing jack shit without them, without you.
And I wouldn't without you. It's a relationship that goes two-way street.
It's the circle of life.
Yeah, you have, artists that, come up with the initial, piece of art, but then, how do they record it? How do they, all the technical aspects of editing art, editing noise. Yeah, it's cool.
Got a lot of big ideas popping around on this episode.
Dreamcasting. So we just gotta pick one and run with it for another 3 years, and we'll do this again.
Yeah. So in 2027, we'll look back at this episode and see how we did.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Can we put a poll up on the page and see just what mild interest might be out there in terms of a live event attendee?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Awesome.
Yep. We'll put a picture of all. We'll take a screen grab of this, and we'll post it.
Amazing.
For those just listening, we just posed.
Yeah, they figured that part out. They're smarter than they look.
Sharp.
More polls. We can do more
Sharp
polls.
as a cue ball.
Oh, it's good. So
that is good.
That's a pretty solid episode for the 3-year birthday. Congratulations, Grunge Bible.
Yeah, congrats, boys.
We got a lot of work to do.
Yes, we do.
Job's not finished.
The job is just getting started.
We got a podcast coming out tomorrow. We got another podcast coming the very next day. 365 days, 365 podcasts. Here we go. I'm just kidding. But thank you so much if you've been listening.
Throughout the years, big things coming soon.
Big things
going on behind the scenes right now. Major announcement on the way.
Oh, I have Drew in my nightmares standing in the shadows. Big things coming.
The sleep paralysis demon. The producer in the doorway.
The producer. We got to do a live event, guys.
Where's the second camera?
We need that second camera. Please fix your lighting, guys.
We need more books.
You're clipping.
We need more
Don't
books.
talk
Raise
so
it up.
close to the mic.
I'm going to send you guys lights. I'm going to send you lights. What's your addresses?
I'll tell you, the biggest lie that I've told over the last 3 years is anytime I say, I'll take a look at that later today.
Oh, that is industry standard of
Every
don't
time.
ever text me again.
I'll take a look at that later.
Oh my
Busy
God.
right now, but
That's
I'll listen to your song later.
Yeah, I'll check it out tonight. I'll listen to that while I'm working tomorrow. I use that one all the time.
Oh man.
But
thank
thanks for
you
having me
so
on,
much.
fellas. Yeah.
Thanks for coming on, Drew. Thank you, Chris.
Yeah,
Thank
for
you,
having
everybody,
me, guys.
for being there and listening. That wraps up another episode of the Grunge podcast. We'll be back next week. We have a great one going back into the realms of the movie categories and TV shows. So stay tuned and have a great rest of your week.
Thanks, everyone.